AITA for being racist to my son's girlfriend? I, 39M, have a son, 17M, who recently got a girlfriend. His girlfriend is black and a very nice, kind and beautiful young lady. I have met her and invited her for dinner and family events plenty of times, and she's a joy to be around. But recently my mother has been staying with us because she is recovering from a surgery she had. And she's going on 70 years old, so she can't do much on her own. Long story short, my mother is a classic racist and being a raging narcissist, and she is not one to hold back from her opinions. I showed her a photo of my son and his girlfriend, and she went on a 2-hour rant about bloodlines and kept saying they don't look right. And when I said she was coming to dinner, she said doesn't want the girl near her because it'll disturb her. So last minute I told her she could not come. My son has been trying to invite his girlfriend over every day since, but I said no multiple times due to his grandmother being here and her saying she doesn't want her near her. I just don't want any problems. But he argues that I am being a complacent racist by even allowing her to be here. And even more so for not allowing her to come over to protect a racist. He says I should have told her to leave the moment my mother said all that stuff. But my mother is an elderly woman who can hardly make it on her own as it is. Definitely much harder after surgery. Though I don't agree with her, I can just leave her to fend for herself. I literally do not know what to do. My wife says my son is right about me being complacent, but of course she'd agree because her and my mother don't get along well. I know I am not a damned racist, but now everyone is saying I am aiding one by taking my mother's side. So AITA? Hey op, your wife doesn't agree with your son because she doesn't get along well with your mother. She agreed with him because he was right. Story time. I am half black. My mother is white and my stepfather, I'll call him Dad, is white. While visiting my dad's dying grandfather in the hospital, one of my dad's uncles made some extremely racist comments. My dad started arguing with him. Because, well, we are his daughter and you don't talk about this man's daughters like that. Out of nowhere, Grandpa shoots up, gets out his hospital bed while his monitors are going crazy, walks over and punches my dad's uncle so hard he fell on his ass. Grandpa proceeded to say that he would rather die right then and there than watch someone he loves be so incredibly racist to such loving, kind children. Grandpa kicked that uncle out the room and that man wasn't allowed back in. And Grandpa made everyone promise not to let him go to his funeral. Op, that's what you said your son's girlfriend is. She is nice and kind. Yet you are 100% allowing your mother say whatever she wants and saying your son's girlfriend isn't allowed over because of this. This girl has done nothing and will remember this for a long time. You are punishing your son and his girlfriend because your mother is racist. YTA. My mother is so elderly and feeble that she will go on 2-hour rants about how much she's a proud bigot. Man, I never even went on a 2-hour squealing when I got Pokemon for the first time. Your son is right. You'd rather defend your bigot mother rather than go, hey, shut up and get over it. So your mother, who is in your house, gets to say who can and cannot come to your house because they will disturb her. Your son and wife is right. You are just as guilty as your mother. You are a complacent racist and enabling your mother's bigot behavior. Your mother can stay and eat in her room. She doesn't get to dictate who comes into your house. Grow a pair. And if it wasn't obvious. YTA. Definitely YTA. Sorry, but protecting a racist does make you complacent and enabling this behavior. You have no gumption to get her to leave, and 70 isn't old. She can get in home care. I would send her racist ass packing. I get what you were going for. But if Granny is incapable of living in the present, don't let her think she's winning. Invite his girlfriend. She's very special to your son. And thus, very special to your family. Don't invite Granny. YTA. You and Granny. Both. YTA. Time you grew a spine and stood up to your mother. Especially when she's incapacitated. And yes, you are aiding a racist. YTA for not standing up to your mother. You're accepting her horrible behavior in your house, and that's just baffling to me. Okay, so my grandma is a couple years older than your mother. She was raised in a very conservative culture, so she has some racist opinions. Despite getting better with the years. When she says something out of line, we, her children and grandchildren, tell her that what she said isn't appropriate. And why it isn't. You don't really mention any mental degradation in your mother. Just that she's got no filter. I'm sorry, bud, but someone isn't off the hook for racism, homophobia, sexism when they pass the senior citizen milestone. If you refuse to tell her that she's being racist, and that you won't tolerate these opinions in her home, instead exclude your dill from a family event to make sure mother isn't disturbed. Yeah, that's being complacent to racism. Cuss dill isn't going away. She's a package deal with your son now. If there's family reunions where your mother will Dill be asked to sit it out as well? If they have children, will all the grandkids be left out too because they'll be mixed? Or will only the white passing kids be allowed because they look acceptable to your mother? And perhaps other relatives. YTA. YTA. If she's being an overt racist towards your son's girlfriend, you really do need to put your foot down and tell your mother that she can either keep her bigotry to herself and leave the poor girl alone when she's around the house. Go sit in another room when the girl's over if she's unwilling to behave like a decent human. Or start considering which nursing home she'd like to go into. She isn't living in the year 1950 anymore. And if she wants to create a bunch of tension and drive a wedge into your family because she's unwilling to let go of bigotry that's clearly causing significant problems in the lives of you, your wife, and your son, she shouldn't be living with your family. YTA. I'm half black and my mom cut out her entire family due to racist comments. YTA. I'm in a similar situation with our son and my mill. She doesn't approve of my son's girlfriend and we get told to tell him to tell her to not speak about this or that subject. They politely obey but just rarely visit her and she's complaining she never sees them. We just shrug it off and say, oh well. You make your displeasure clear. Of course they're not going to turn up and pretend it's happy families. Pull your head in and they might come. Otherwise we don't blame them for not visiting you. Your son and wife are right off. If your mother has the energy to be a vile human, then she sure can cope without your help. YTA. YTA. You're standing by a racist just to keep the peace. You'll lose your son. YTA. Your mother is clearly in the wrong. Yet you are punishing your son for her comfort. I don't blame your son for lumping you in with your mother at all. How are you ever going to be able to look at your son's girlfriend without guilt, knowing that you repeatedly barred her from your home because you were catering to someone you describe as a racist and narcissist? But he argues that I am being a complacent racist by even allowing her to be here. And even more so for not allowing her to come over to protect a racist. Your son is correct. YTA. Only racists choose racists over decent people. Your son probably lost a lot of respect for you when you didn't stand up to her. Why is a 2H rant about bloodlines something that you allow to happen in your home? YTA. You are taking the easy way out and letting your mother control who is welcome in your house. By not telling her she is wrong, you are condoning her behavior, so by default also racist. Apologize to the son's girlfriend. Let her come over. Tell your other to stay in her room. Shut up or get out. If you have a dozen racists in your home and you do nothing about it, there are 13 racists in your home. YTA 70 isn't even that old. Have an honest conversation with your mom and tell her to pull her head in. YTA 70 isn't that old. So you really have no excuse. Not standing up to a racist is as bad as being a racist because you're allowing it to happen. SMH.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.